Good morning and God bless you. We are in day 95 through our journey through the Bible. We're reading today Deuteronomy 28, Luke chapter 11, verse 14 through 36, Psalms chapter 77, verse 1 through 20, and Proverbs chapter 12, verse 18. And I was reading today Deuteronomy, and it's going over the promise and the blessings of prosperity and growth and all these things that the Lord had said he would provide if you only follow his law, his commandments. And that is, each and every day do according to what God had commanded to be done. And in Deuteronomy, it's a beautiful prayer. It's not prayer. It's a beautiful composition for the reward of obedience, which is what he's calling us to do. Remember, obedience is better than sacrifice, and he's calling us to live by certain precepts, putting God first, honoring your mother, honoring your father, and not looking haughtily, not be jealous minded, not be material obsessed, but to follow God and do what is right according to his will and purpose. And if you were to complete that and do that, the blessings that he would bestow on you and your land and everything would prosper and all these things. And right, once you get to halfway through Deuteronomy, I think around Deuteronomy 13 or 14, then it goes into the penalties for disobedience, which is the exact opposite of the promises, right? You're going to be secure. Your enemies are, in the promise, your enemies are going to come at you one way and flee before you 7 ways. But in the penalty, your enemies are going to come at you one way and you're going to flee 7 ways. It's just the contrast between the promise of obedience and the punishment for disobedience, right? And in that, going over this, the people, the separation, the anxiety, the slavery, all the forced indentured slavery and all these things that came about, it just echoed in my mind, the African people as we know today, dispersed and hated throughout all nations, forced to worship gods that we did not know, wood and stone. We've been chastised, beaten up, and despised in every corner of the earth, right? And it's like there's no other people that fits this description but us. But that's what stuck to my mind today, and it also brought me to remember my own unworthiness, right? I say it often that we all fall short of the glory of God every single day, but he is just and he is merciful, right? And he pulls us out of the net. He rescues us from the pit, and this is something that he does for those he loves. And everybody gets upset with the correction, and everyone is cursing God because of the correction and the hardship that you endure, not realizing that the punishments that you see, that the corrective measures are not even on par with your offense, right? So you learn to accept the chastisement, you learn to accept the punishment, and try to glean out what the intent was. What did you do? What were you supposed to do? What punishment, or the reaction as I call it. You control the action, not the reaction, right? You control what you're doing, but you don't control the consequence, all right? And I teach that to my children. I said, I teach it when they err, when they step off the line, or whatever the case is, and likewise at work, and likewise between, disputes amongst each other. You control the action, but you don't get to control the reaction. And this is what was put on my heart today, and it just reminded me of how unworthy I am. And I'm going to say me because I don't know you. I don't know all of you, but I know that each and every day on this journey, and even before it, I remember where I was before God called me. I remember where I was before he reached out to me and pulled me from the net and pulled me from the snare of deceit. And that's what you get when you live a life of self, when you live a life on material things, when you're seeking fleshly desires and you're not seeking the kingdom. You lump all these things on yourself. You walk around not speaking the truth. You walk around, out for yourself and willing to do whatever it takes for yourself, right? And you go wayward, and you put all these chains around your neck, and these transgressions, which eventually lead to sin, they wear you down. Right, and I remember this, and this verse in Deuteronomy 28 just reminded me of how blessed I am that the Lord himself redeemed me, that he restored my soul, that he put in me a burning desire to share his word, and it's humbling. It's humbling, and we all make mistakes, and I'm not saying you're not going to, and I make mistakes even now, right? And I was on my path, and I looked to the left and to the right. Next thing I know, I don't even know where the path is anymore, and I'm calling out to the Lord in distress because I obviously transgressed, and I couldn't figure out the source of my transgression, and I'm just lost and stumbling around in darkness. And darkness constantly grows, and it's that fear and that presence and that anxiety, and we're just like, what is happening? I know that I'm not Job, right? Who was, for all intents and purposes, sinless, right? Not sinless as Jesus Christ, but he was a good man living in right standing with God. And when his trials came about him, and that whole story. If you haven't read the book of Job, we're actually going to get there pretty soon. That's one of my favorite books of the entire Bible. And I was just lost. I was lost. And then I remembered his promises. I remembered his deliverance. And I wake up each day and I'm just filled with joy and hope and peace and a burning desire to share his good word, to exemplify through my actions and deeds my trust and faith that I have in him, because I have this tremendous reserve of faith that keeps me happy. It keeps me buoyant in the rough waters, right? It keeps me, stable and situated amongst the chaos, right? And look, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I'm not. I make mistakes, and that's why I always tell you, don't follow me, follow God. My purpose and everything that I'm here is to help you on your journey, to provide in you the encouragement to seek the Lord, to get to know him, right? It's not about me, it's about him. If you follow me, then you're going to end up doing the things that I do, and not everything I do is correct, and I constantly have to be cleansed. I constantly have to ask for forgiveness, because I'm man, I'm born to sin, and it so easily ensnares us, and it's a constant battle every single day to walk right with right standing with God. But it's a battle that you will win, and as you win one battle, another one comes back. As you transgress, and the battles get stronger, but your also resistance to them gets stronger, because your God is fighting these battles for you. Right? He never puts anything in front of you that you cannot overcome. All right? He will not abandon you. He will not leave you. He is the God. He's faithful and true. He is the one who will leave the 99 to come after you, and to find the one and put him back to the flock. And that's what he's done for me countless times. All right, so what am I telling you? I'm telling you, God is good, merciful, and just bound in mercy and love, and he wants to prosper you. There are things that you have to learn. There are things that you're going to go through. And some of these things, he himself tests no one, because he himself cannot be, counseled or by evil. Or he understands evil. He understands what's in the world. The devil was released on the earth. That's where he went after his fall from heaven. All right, so he knows this. He knows that there are 1,000 things in front of us that we're going to look after and we're going to seek after, and it's meant to distract you. It's meant to pull you from him. We live in a world today that echoes the absence of truth and knowledge. Right? It echoes. Look at our current situation here in the United States. We have a president who lost, an egotistical maniac president, and he had 70 million people that voted and to keep him there. Right? So they're all upset right now, and the man won't concede. There's no graciousness in him. Right? He clearly lost. We got to see in every state across America how the votes were being counted and tabulated. We got to watch it with our own eyes. We saw even both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. They were like, this is remarkably transparent. They have both their campaigns in the rooms. In every voting center across the country, Republicans and Democrats and independents and observers and video cameras and all these things happening on. It was one of the most clear and amazingly transparent operations that we all got to witness. And because the counts didn't go in his favor, he wants to call it fraudulent. But the problem is he's been saying this for the last 6 months, since the pandemic started. So it's not like we didn't know, right? It's not like we didn't know. So why are they giving him ear? Why are they even listening to him? Because it's obviously false. We got to see it with our own eyes, the transparency. But yet here we are today. They're still doing it. And this is what I mean. It's like truth doesn't matter anymore. Character doesn't matter anymore. But that's not true. Character matters. Character matters. And why do I say this? Not to bring politicalness into the conversation, but when you look around and you see such devastation and darkness in the world, it's hard to realize that God is in ultimate control. It's hard to see that he understands the human condition. He understands the plights and the things that we surface. And he's telling you, time is coming, time is running out. There was an appointed time for all this, and that appointed time is coming to its end, all right? And this is the time where you can choose to stop following the darkness of the world and follow God. And this is what this journey has been about. Put in you the desire to seek after the Lord. That's what this is about, to put in you the desire to want to see the Lord. You're going to have to read the book on your own. That's why I go over the daily list every day. I go over what the verses are, to not overwhelm you. You can sit there and read the entire Bible from front to back, if you so choose. Right? You can go way ahead of the lesson if you want to. That's fine. Right? But this is meant to build from the beginning to the end. Right? And it is so that you can understand who God is. You can understand that this entire journey has been a redemptive process from the fall of Adam all the way back to, the restoration in Jesus Christ, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, right? It's all about God and being in right standing with God. All of us. It's been open. The door has been open for everybody, not just the Israelites, right? For everybody now. Everybody has a pathway to God, has a pathway to salvation through Jesus Christ. And find it, explore it. I hope this finds you wherever you are. And I hope you stumble across this video and listen to these words and just are overcome with passion to seek the Lord. Because that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. Create a pathway for you to find the Lord where there was none. I use my own personal experiences, my own testimonies, because if he can do it with me, if he can bring me to where I am, then anybody else can do it too. Coming from a not perfect person, coming from someone who continually falls and stumbles, but I have tremendous faith in Jesus Christ, because he is the firstborn over all creation. He is the first and the last. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is true. And I want you to have that joy and peace that he so wonderfully blessed me with. All right, this video is kind of long, so I'm going to let it go here. Just go with God, stay with God.